What's up, guys? Welcome to the Coffee and Karim podcast. This episode today is brought to you by Jovian.com. If you guys want to check out coffee mugs, merch, be sure to go there and check it out. Today I am with Agustin Rodriguez. He is like, in a way, my mentor. He helped me with my acting. He kind of like really pushed me towards the film world, and that was during my high school years. He himself is also an actor. He has worked with greats such as Ice-T, Michael Douglas, just to name a few, and he's going to tell you a lot more himself. So welcome, Agustin Rodriguez. It's so great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first off, I just want people to know who you are, and if you could just introduce yourself, that would be great.
Sure. Agustin Rodriguez. I'm born and raised here in New York City on the island of Manhattan. Grew up in a single mom household. Went to school of visual arts, got my degree to be a freelance illustrator. So that was my whole plan, do that. Then after that, I kind of took acting on the side. In high school I was still shy. Didn't like I didn't even speak in front of the class, So in college took some acting classes on the side. Got my degree as an artist, but kept studying acting. And this was not my plan, but like less than a year and a half, I started to work in the industry. I started doing in New York theater, indie film. Then I got cast in a feature film, Final Analysis. So flown to Warner, over to LA. So here I am on the Warner Brothers soundstage. If you could imagine this, soundstage, long conference table. And I'm sitting there, people starting to file in, and I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling like like starstruck. I'm about to meet and work with Richard Gere, Kim Basinger, Uma Thurman, Eric Roberts, Keith David.
Wow, there you go.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa. So I was like, how do I get here from the heights? I remember thinking that. And then since then, intermittently, I've also like worked in the fitness field. So teaching and training people nutrition, fitness, and martial arts for many years. But yeah, it's been acting, teaching the arts, doing the arts. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, how did you like just fall into the acting world? Did you go to a certain audition that really pushed you?
You know what? I gotta say, do you ever had a girlfriend that like influenced you or like?
Oh yeah.
So one of my Madonna Grimes, she's just amazing. She's been amazing. She's like did a lot in the fitness world, and she was kind of fearless. She's fearless, and would encourage me to just try it. I was kind of curious about acting. I'm like, I took it at SVA, at School of Visual Arts, as a little side thing. I was just like, I ate it up. I took a playwriting class, and I just kept acting in front of, like, we would cast it every week, and so I kind of did that. That was the thing, I think, because it was just an experiment. It was just me having fun and discovering it. So I just took to it like fish to water. And then people like her would encourage me to just go for it, like go, take class somewhere else. I took class outside of college, and then encouraged me to audition. And I thought, no, I'm not. I gotta study more.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And they were like, look, she would say, there are people with less training than you that are working. So I tried it, and I loved it. It was like cold reading. Like it was like that on like that playwriting class. It was just like cold reading. I thought, wow, this is fun to me, because my plan was to be an artist. I wasn't taking any risk. I'm just let's just do this, and that took off.
Yeah, and and your work was amazing. I mean, I remember in class when we knew that. I don't know if you ever told us that you like. There was one time, me and my friends, we were watching a movie, with Michael Douglas. The one that you did with Michael Douglas. Refresh me on the title.
Falling Down.
Falling Down, yeah. Right? So we were watching that, and I was with my friends, and all of a sudden we see the scene with you and Michael Douglas, and then we're like, wait, that's that's Mr. Rodriguez. Like, and we were so surprised, and then we were like, oh, we remember he told us something about this, but we didn't like it. Totally like just went over our heads when you told us. But when we saw it, we're like, wow, like you were a completely different character. Like we didn't know that you could pull that off. It was amazing just to see it. And my friends too, when they saw it, they're like, oh, that's the professor, and they like the teacher from our class. So it was really cool, like the whole moment of us like noticing that. and it was amazing. And I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of other things that you have done that you would like to talk about, because your demo reel shows a lot of your range, and you talk about how you just fell into it and you were shy, but like how did you break away from that and manage to pull off these roles in such a professional looking way? I mean, because they look very well done.
Thanks, Karim. I think, well, I gotta say, before I talk about me, first of all, I'm really amazed at what you're doing.
Thank you,
And
man. I appreciate that.
So really, I am just, it's taking a lot of hard work, a lot of like work ethic and talent, and you've had it. I remember, I mean, seeing you break out of your shell, and like, I don't know, maybe you could relate to this. Like when I first started, it was kind of just, I was just playing, and I got a chance to pretend to play, to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. It was just a safe place. It was just me just experimenting and learning something new. I thought, I always wanted to do that. So I don't know, what was the original question? Like, what broke me out of my shyness?
Yeah, exactly. What broke you out of your shyness? What do you think got you out of that? And I really appreciate the kind words, by the way. Thank you.
Sure, of course. Just being in college, now you're like a little bit older, and I still didn't like really speaking in front of people. Here I'm doing art, so you're always by yourself. I'm always like focusing on my projects, but I love to talk to people, and I love to pretend. I love movies always.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. It was the experiment of just doing class and then just jumping in. So here you are doing it, and then let me take this playwriting class, and then here we are acting in it too. I'm like, oh yeah. So it just kind of fell into it. That's what it was. It was just like experimenting and playing with everyone at the same time, and little by little, I was still nervous. Like I remember one of my, indie films I did, student films, and I had one single word, and I was so nervous before before saying it, before the camera came on. Yeah. But just continually doing it over and over again, because I knew it was fun. I enjoyed it. And of course doing theater, being on the boards, on like on stage, that's the real like you have to do it again and again and again, and you just learn. That's a classroom right there. So that helped me.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, that's it's one of the biggest things to get over is like stage fright, and that takes a lot. So I wanted you to also let our audience know how you crossed over to where we met, my high school, Aviation High School. Like that's our connection. That's how our paths crossed. So what led you to aviation, and tell us about some memories from that class.
God. I was thinking about one today. I was like, should I even share that? I was like, so it got me reprimanded. So here's what happened. I had, in my living as an actor, living in LA for like 4 years. I moved there, got work that cast me, brought me there, did that for like 4 years. And then I decided at one point to come back to New York, right, for a period of time. Now, here's what happened. It was my faith. I became a Christian, and actually at one point I was in the full-time ministry. So my focus went from like, acting, schmacting. Like, I have a bigger calling here. That's what happened to me. So that brought me back to New York. But I still needed a lot to learn a lot. So I had a short time in the ministries, like less than a couple of years, and I still went back to acting, and then kept. I got into. I was about to get married. That's what it was. So I was looking for extra work. I was like, enjoy teaching a lot, and just started doing other stuff, and found this. I think it was on Craigslist when I found leadership and went in. It all like. When things are like streamlined, it's almost like there's no resistance, like it's meant to happen.
Yeah.
So that's when I just started to learn. And I'll tell you, my time at the leadership program was like grad school, because I learned so much how to teach leadership, facilitate leadership through the arts, through teaching martial arts, acting. So that's what brought me there. So here I am going to AV, and a lot of my friends went there. So I'm like, this is the famous aviation. I remember the jackets, and that's what brought me there, and I enjoyed it. That was just a lot. I got a chance to still audition, act, and did other films that, Generation X, the other stuff that
tell us about all that stuff that you did. Yeah.
So during that time here, I'm teaching acting, and I get to act. And sometimes in the classroom, the students didn't. They're like, "What are you doing here? How come?" I'm like, I get to be here. Like, I enjoy it. I didn't want to just teach. Want to just act. I wanted to teach. I enjoy it. So doing it, and Yeah. So during that time when I was teaching there, on and off, I would do different things. Did some guest starred on 3 Law and Order episodes. That was me running from the cops. Different times, different haircuts. So that was a blast. Working with these guys, Jerry Orbach and Jesse Martin. Meeting people there, doing other films. I'd worked with. Actually, the 3 rappers you mentioned, Ice-T. The 3 rappers that I work with. There's Ice-T. Oh gosh, what's his name? Fredro Starr from Onyx. It was a New York undercover episode that I did, working with Michael DeLorenzo and Malik Yoba. So that TV show, it was on during the 90s. I don't remember. It was on for like a quick minute. And with Lauren Velez, it was a blast. And then during that time, I think it was before we met. I had worked. It was 90. But way back when I was 14. I did a movie of the week. They used to call it movie of the week. Generation X. It's one of the first Marvel films ever. And I found the magazine. I was like, I didn't even realize there were certain articles in there. Oh, there's a picture of us.
Yeah, we're gonna cut to that. Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
So that was pretty cool. To be like a Latino teenage mutant superhero. So go from so it wasn't just playing the bad guy. That meant a lot to me. You know what I mean? Because right, we can relate. It's sometimes we're typecast, and it's good to be cast, but it's like there's so much more. So that was a blast to do that, to have powers and all. Did that. Worked with Mickey Rourke in this film called Thicker Than Blood. A bunch of different people. Worked with Eartha Kitt. I did, before that time, earlier in L.A., did a episode of Street Justice. That was way back when. Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed.
Yeah,
so I got to work with him.
Wow.
And that's
awesome.
Yeah, he was so encouraging. So I've been just so blessed, man. I have to tell you, what can I say? Sometimes I look back, I'm like, wow, I need to be just grateful. That's all, just.
Yeah, I feel you. Do you feel like it's the same like it was back then nowadays with the whole entertainment industry, or do you think it's a lot harder now? What do you think?
You know what? You got I'm glad you said that, because people would say, "Oh, they're looking for Latinos." I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "They're still looking for Latinos." Really? I think there's a lot more opportunity there. I mean, we got this. We got all these, YouTube, just Facebook, Instagram. I mean, you have so many platforms and so many. I mean, look at the opportunity that it's opened up for you, and for all of us. So we really have, we have a lot. We can do a lot. There's so much, and they're always looking for content. I mean, you got YouTube Studios.
Yeah.
You got Facebook, you got Amazon Studios. I have friends that work there. There's so many people that are just creating content, and now it's being really legitimized, or people are respecting it. Like, oh, wait a minute, USA got a Academy Award, whatever, wherever it was, Netflix. Now they really respect it even more and more, and it's just opened it up for creators. So that's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and I'm really excited about that too, because it just creates more opportunity. But you have people like Steven Spielberg, who's trying to not get Netflix be recognized in the Oscars, which is weird. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. They have something against it. Even Quentin Tarantino also. He just doesn't like, because what he says is kind of true. It's like it takes away from the essence of going to a theater and having the whole atmosphere of people watching with you.
Yeah.
But
you can still do that.
Yeah.
You can still,
yeah,
because that is an experience.
Yeah.
You can't beat experience. But
yeah.
our world is so different. It's opened up so much. I mean, you're reaching. Where have you gotten messages from emails or comments from far-reaching places in the world?
In what sense? People who reach out to me,
from different parts of the world.
All over the world, man. I was surprised to know that I have fans in Japan.
Wow.
They sent me postcards and hey, just letting you know you have fans in Japan. That was amazing, because I always want to go to Japan. That's one of my dream places to go. Yeah. And then countries I've never even heard of, and it's just surreal for me.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we were in your class, I used to tell you like I met Jackie Chan and it's one of my dreams to like work with him and stuff like that. And I kind of like put it out there in the universe. I still got like, we haven't like really made something together yet, but I got to meet him again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was under much better circumstances. Like, you know, like I was invited to watch the movie, his newest movie, The Foreigner, with him, and then have like a meet and greet after.
Nice.
And it was really cool. And I wanted to ask you, like, because you kind of had this thing where you would notice potential in your students.
Mm-hmm.
How would you work with that? Like when you notice the potential in your students, because we were in a film class, you had like a bunch of creators. So you had people there for fun, and you had people like me who were there for like, you know, as a serious thing. And I noticed you noticed that because you always like paid attention to me and some of my friends because we were always into that filmmaking thing. Yeah. So like, how would you work with how did you work with someone that you saw have potential?
I gave you all my attention and it worked.
Yeah.
Look, see. Like, no. I think I wanted to give everybody a chance to really explore, because it's a time to, just like me, I was kind of learning how not to be shy or to just have fun. And here's the thing, in acting, you know that you learn a lot about yourself and about people. So in a class like that, I think when I would notice certain people took to it or on their own, they would shoot. Like, I know you guys would do that. Yeah. You know, on your own, you'd shoot different things, and it's something that you mentioned the other day where you said it helped out. One of the things I said where I said be careful of the things. That
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually forgot. So it's actually a funny thing. When we were in high school, we just started making those online videos, and we were making like, you know, really crazy videos because, you know, we were young and we were just going wild with the videos. And Agustin came up to me one day and he's like, you should be really careful what you're putting online, because then that stuff is going to be there forever and it's going to be hard, you know, to get a job or do this or do that. And at first, we were like, whatever, you know? Yeah. But I started running it in my head, and I was like, you know what, maybe he's right. Let me try to take it in a different direction. And I started taking things a little more in a serious, giving things more meaning, basically. And that's how I started taking my videos into more of like a social experiment phase, dealing with social issues, dealing with ethnicities and faiths and all that stuff. So I guess it's because of you, I would have been making crazy videos like I used to, where we were like dressing up like weirdos in the street, humping each other, and like, I don't know if anyone has ever seen this video. We were like, our first viral video was just us crazy in a laundromat, and we all got like down to our tighty whities, and it was really embarrassing. And I'm glad it's gone from the internet.
Oh, good.
Because that would be all over the place. But yeah, you kind of like guided us in the right direction. With that, you know, you kind of woke us up, and I think we needed that at that time, because there's a lot of kids nowadays, especially now that they have everything so readily available to them with social media, they put anything and everything out there. Yeah. So
we see crazy stuff like what happened with people. I mean, people taunting other people, and then kids like killing themselves or like trying to like. You know what I mean? Like that's just like, okay, wow, that's just crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know what, I think. Just that, like what I mentioned about being careful, that was just one of the lessons my focus was to really instill leadership, or to help bring the leadership out of you guys that you have there, because you guys are creative, and you are really always like, so it's there. It's just just helping you think through, and you make your decisions in the end. It's not, you know, about nagging you guys or
we never felt it was like nagging.
Cool.
So I wanted to ask you, what's your most favorite part and least favorite part about acting?
Oh, yeah. The best, my favorite part about it, the least, gosh, the favorite part is just you get a chance, new experiences. You get to play, you get to really experience. You get to experience something like brand new that you don't know in the moment. You know, it could be on stage and camera. Like things it could just be fresh and new. So experiencing and creating new things. Favorite, and meeting these cool people, you know, it's pretty, I mean, that's pretty neat. It's a blessing, it is. The least favorite about acting in general, or like Let's see, 'cause
About
it'd
the
be
whole.
different.
Well, I would say the atmosphere.
I have it.
Everything. Yeah.
I know it. I know it. I think I appreciate being cast, even if it's typecast. But I think that's my least favorite. That sometimes it's just like, you go in. I've been to so many auditions. You don't know. I played. I sent you some stills. It's like, got a tattoo on my neck. I got scar here. I'm like playing a rapist, a killer, and just like so. Seeing that so many times where, that part being typecast negatively just because I'm Latin or a little bit
Brown.
darker,
Yeah.
it's like so.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, there's so much more. So the times I got a chance to do stuff like Generation X, or I did a TV show. I was a regular on Moon Over Miami, so it was a TV series, and that was a blast. And here I got a chance to be articulate. I got to be the main Bill Campbell's like right-hand man, is like surveillance expert, setting up the mics, setting up stuff and following people and that kind of thing. But I got to be well-dressed, well-spoken, had my ear to the street, was hip to that, but also like could hang in be in a nice upscale restaurant and just kind of fit right in. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And it was a positive role. So that's my favorite part. I think that aspect of it, being able to explore and really do positive things like that, inspiring, uplifting. Favorite part, least favorite is, when they kind of just. I don't mind playing a bad guy. It's good. It's fun.
Yeah.
But not when
But when
it's
it's
just,
all the time.
Yeah, you're just like, do this. Okay, great. Now you're gonna do this and kill this child. I'm like, okay.
Do you think it's an issue though that's still running rampant today in Hollywood with these typecasting, especially people of color? Do you think it still goes on?
What do you think?
I mean,
what's your view? I want to ask your point of view. I'll answer you. You're the interviewer.
I mean, you know what I'm gonna say. I mean, I think it's still a problem.
Yeah.
I honestly still think it's a problem. I told you about last time when I went to an audition and they did the bait and switch with me. They baited me into saying that I'm going to audition for a young Syrian boy. I read for that. They're like quickly like, oh, yeah, okay, now we have this we want you to read for. And it was an ISIS leader. And I told them, no, I'm not going to read for that. So, like, I feel like it's still a problem. But, I mean.
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I feel kind of torn about it because.
Like, I don't mind playing a bad guy,
right?
Yeah, but it's just when it's that, like a terrorist, because it's like you know where it's coming from. There's like something there that just doesn't seem right, because it's like, anybody could be a bad guy, but not everyone is like a terrorist. We know what a terrorist is attributed to, right?
And here's the thing, like we all see the news. We see that like. The reality is, there are people that do come from certain countries, certain backgrounds that do those things. But then you also got like, these mass shooters that are like all homegrown, like, white guys, white guys with guns out in the woods. It's like not all the time, but somehow we don't kind of ostracize them or go like, oh, we look out for. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's an imbalance there, so it's like
that's true. Yeah, there's a major imbalance.
So it's never like make sure you. I always get. I remember when everything started after 9/11, and I would get, meaning, the scrutiny when you're gonna get a plane and go somewhere, and I would you have been chosen to, and I'll be right escorted over here. You're like, okay, I'm like, because of the way I look, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm a minister. That's the reality, but. So no, as far as like, I think, I'm sorry, you were asking about, is it still rampant?
Yeah.
I think there are a lot more opportunities. I'm so excited to see, like Crazy Rich Asians. Unfortunately, we shouldn't wait for just one film to put everyone in.
I feel you, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because you have so many talented, light, dark. I have a friend of mine, Rob. He's, Indian, grew up here in Brooklyn, and like, super talented. He's darker, a few shades darker than me, so they gave him a hard time. He had a hard time just growing up. So then in the industry there was like no place for him. It's like, wow. So but here's the good thing, here's the good part. Regardless of what's going on, you have the opportunity to create your own opportunity. I got a chance to direct and produce a film. I wasn't in it. I'll be in the next one, but I'll put myself in the next. But I just got to be behind the camera. But we get a chance, and obviously because of the technology, YouTube, everything, we get a chance to really to make that different.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. I wanted to know like what's your take on important things that an actor should know. Three very important things.
Three important things. Wow. Okay, I have to. Three important things that an actor should know. To always try, I guess. This is just, I didn't think about this, which is good. I like this.
Yeah.
It's improv. To always just give it a shot. Always try. Always, because you never know where things may go. So just be willing to take risks as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And part of always trying is to, like people would go to auditions. They'll go and they'll just, beat themselves up after the audition and stay with. And I did that too. I remember auditioning for something, I didn't get it.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh man, I could relate to this. It's like, and I was so sad. I was so disappointed. But then I learned to okay, let me evaluate, look at it, and move on to the next.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always about next, always, never to be just kind of stuck on one thing, but just next. Great, let me do my best. Let me evaluate, what did I do? What could I have done better, different? Cool. And if you really prepare for a part, for me, when I've really prepared in the past, I felt great. Coming back out, I'm like, I gave it everything I had. When I didn't, if I didn't prepare, I'm like, oh, I could have done more work, and it was kind of half, so, and I was caught off guard, and I'm like, oh man, you're gonna find out I don't know how to act. but so really, just always thinking next. So taking risks as an actor, next, not taking it personal, not dwelling. Mm-hmm. Just really just focusing, and then I think the last one is giving your very best, because if you give your best, that's all you can do. The rest of it is, it's up to just the luck of the draw, But it is, a lot of it is on us. You're in control of that part, and then the rest of it, it's cool. It's no problem. See, I've been behind the scene, behind the cameras on the other side, casting people, so I understand. I'm that they're looking for you. They want you. They're needing you. They're really wanting you to be the person. So I think, I don't know, possibly those three things. I'm sure there's more, but
that's good. No, that works. So, I mean, I guess that kind of works as advice then, because a lot of people who audition, because I'm pretty sure we might have some people here watching that, or listening that are interested in acting, or the film world, and they would come across the time, or they just do an audition or an interview, whatever it is, and then they come out chastising themselves, being their own worst criticizer, right? Mm-hmm. And that can be an issue, because I would do it sometimes too, where I'm always hard on myself, so I think that the best tip is just to go on to the next. And that's very hard to do. How would you do it, though? How would you, go on to the next? Because some people just, they like to live in their minds a lot.
I think, and it's we're all human, and we do it. And especially if you are creative, and you set the bar high, and as I know you do, you're like, wait a minute, I really want to make it the best that it can be. So I think that's why really doing your best, doing your homework beforehand, then you feel great. You're like, okay, I've done everything I could. Mm-hmm. And then, so that helps, to me. That helps. And then to always have, again, if you have your own opportunity, your own project going, so you're not just dependent upon, I got to get this job because I got to, pay the rent.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that, too. You're going for stuff, you're like, oh, my gosh. And, and it's just, you know what it is? I think David Goggins? You've heard of David Goggins? He's a guy in the military. I'd watch him on Impact Theory, with Tom Bilyeu. He was interviewed. He's a guy, a Marine. He was a Navy SEAL. And he says, I learned to be very, very comfortable with being uncomfortable. He was just intense. I mean, he did intense stuff, like a 40-mile race, 100-mile race, and in pain, So I think the more, the more you do anything, you kind of get used to it? I mean, would you say that, like, when you were shooting and learning how to deal with things that that were unplanned, and like, oh, someone didn't show up and something's late, we're getting dark, we're losing light, and
yeah, that,
right?
I mean, I got used to that. But it's like when it comes to when I'm doing a production, right? And things like that happen, I kind of got used to it. Like, I'm always going to expect that someone might not be showing up at time, or I might not show on time, or someone cancels last minute. I mean, I've had that happen before with really professional actors, like who canceled a night before the shoot. Everybody was ready, and right before the shoot, she canceled, and it kind of ruined our production, and we lost a lot of money and stuff. But we made it up and got another girl, and we made it up, so it was good. But yeah, after that, when I started first doing these productions and started noticing these things, I started to expect it, and I've kind of gotten used to it. But then here's the thing: when it comes to a production, I get used to it. But when it comes to myself, I never get used to it. So it's like I don't know what it is that keeps it that way.
You never get used to what part? As far as like kind of just being your harshest critic, like your own.
Yeah, like I always I never get used to. It's always new. Every time I go in, it's the same exact thing as if it's the first time I've ever messed up. You know, just recently I did an audition, and the lady came in and she's like, in front of everyone, she's like, "They loved your audition. We would love to have you for a callback. Can you come back at 5:30 p.m.?" And I was like, kind of like taken aback, and I was like, I didn't want to be too excited because I wanted to be respectful of, the people that are in the room too. I don't know why she would do that. Yeah, I don't know why she would do that. Like, she put me in such a weird place. Like, at least
feel their stares.
Word, right? It's like, take me to the hallway, and I just politely was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll come." I kept it very reserved. And then in my mind, I'm like, damn it, I should have showed more excitement. I should have showed her that I was a lot more happier. Because sometimes my old agent used to be like this, because he didn't understand me. That was one of the problems with my agents. He didn't really understand me. They're like, "Oh, you when they tell me I got something, they'll try to make it seem like, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's great. All right, let's do it." They're like, are you not excited?" I'm like, I am. I'm like, I'm ready to do it.
Happy.
You're not why. Yeah. Do I have to scream or anything like that? It's like I'm all about work, man, and I don't like, and not like overdoing it. You know what I mean? So when she told me to go to the callback, I told her, yeah, sure, I'll be here at 5:30, and I was really excited because I'm like, yo, this is a really cool story. It's a really cool project, and it's unique. So after that, I come back, and I just feel like they took me in late. I was waiting outside for a long time, so it was past 5:30. I had to wait until 5:45 to get in. And then she's like, "Oh, sorry." And then I went inside, and I kind of got a vibe. I don't know if I created this vibe in my head. I went in the audition room, and they were like throwing all these different things at us to try out. They made us read like different scenes. They made us read a scene from Hangover to see our range and all that stuff. And it was in the back of my mind the whole time. I was like, man, they probably think I'm not excited about this. They probably think I'm not grateful. They probably think I don't want this. So it kind of was like running in the back of my head while I was performing. But I was the most excited out of everyone in that room, because I would tell them, let's do it again. Let's do that scene again. Because I wanted to show all the different, because they'll be like, "Are you okay with that? You want to do another one?" Yeah, let's do another one. Right? Nice. But I didn't hear from them after that. So it kind of sucked. And I was like, damn, I probably messed up.
That's okay. It could, you know what it is? A lot of times, I'm glad you said that. You had this story, because you said I probably messed up. Or not. It could be like, sometimes I've been on the other side where I want to cast someone. I'm like, man, but he doesn't look like her brother. Like it could be a thing that has nothing to do with you at all. It's like I auditioned for stuff, and what was it? Clint Eastwood movie, In the Line of Fire. I think it was In the Line. I auditioned for something back in the day, and they were like, wow, they really, really liked you. They were considering rewriting the character to make him younger.
That's amazing.
Because I was just like, wow, that's very encouraging. But that goes to show you that a lot of times there's so many elements that have nothing to do with you. They really. When I was cutting together the last film I did, I had to edit out people that I really liked and I wanted to highlight, but it didn't make sense. It didn't serve the story. It didn't serve the big picture. and I really want it, but I'm like, man, I really in the future I want to use them for something, or that's what my mind was. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
you never know. They might be like, maybe you were really on their minds and say like, man, I wish we could, but it's just not the right fit. Or sometimes the project gets scrapped or shelved, and it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, you're right.
You
know,
see
come
what I
to
mean?
think of it, see, that's why you help put things in perspective. When they had us reading, I was actually going into audition for the mature guy of the group. Okay, so he kind of guides them and plays and doesn't really play too much, and he's in love with one girl and stuff like that. So that's his mindset, and that's kind of like how I am in real life. Like when I went on tour, I was kind of like the bigger brother, like guiding my friends, you know. So I was like, oh, this is a perfect role for me. But they didn't see that. After I read for it, they're like, actually, we want you to read for this. He's the young wacky guy, right? The crazy kid.
Because you can do wacky.
Yeah,
you can do both.
The young wacky guy. It turns out the guy who's mature, they needed him to be a lot older. And I guess that's probably what it was. Yeah.
It's through their eyes. They're seeing casting. They're seeing. I've been to auditions where I'm like I'm over 35. You know, so so I'll walk in. It'll be like, you know, mid 40s, like weathered sergeant or guy in the military. Like, that's not me. Like, I'd walk into the audition and I would have a blast knowing that I would not cast me. I'm like, I'll cast that guy. That guy looks like him. I remember going in the room. I'm like, man, this guy look. And I'm excited about, because I'm not taking it personal. I'm just going, okay, I'm going to just give my very best, because that's great. It's important to give your very best for the casting director, for everyone around, the producers, because they'll see your work. It doesn't matter if you're not, because they'll be like, whoa. For example, Generation X, that was because they saw my work in New York Undercover. I didn't audition for that, and that was one of the bigger things I did, where I was like featured throughout that whole film and got, you know. And
that's so awesome. That's like probably like one of the first Marvel.
Yeah, and I didn't, but I never auditioned for it. I remember all I knew is that my agent said, "Oh, you know, you got this." I'm like, "I got it." I said, "Oh, I mean," he goes, "Yeah, you booked it." I'm like, "I did? I don't remember auditioning for that." I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Yeah." And all I knew is that, wow, this is amazing. Then I remember taking a couple seconds and thinking, okay, it's called Generation X, and my role is Skin. I'm like, what is it? What is this about? So I had to really pray about it, be like, let me take a look at the script for. And then I saw, and I have a couple of actual comics here, Generation X, they gave me as like a reference. I'm like, oh, this is like comic book. This is fun. I read the script. I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? This is so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But again, I didn't know that was gonna happen from them just seeing my work in something else. So you never know. They're gonna have you. There might be someone right at this very moment, thinking about you, thinking about me, thinking about like, oh wait, that person right there would be a perfect person for this role. You never know. So there's so much there's but so much we're in control of, and then we just got to do everything on our part to prepare. So being in class is good too, or shooting stuff all the time is good, because that's you're learning by doing. You're constantly keeping it warm, sharpening the saw, keeping it.
Yeah, that's right. And it's also really important to sometimes casting directors, they don't see it themselves. You have to let them see it. Like I remember Halle Berry, like they would always keep like casting her as the sexual object, or the kind of like that the usual trope, right? But she kind of pushed it to I forgot the director's name, but what is it called? Monsters Ball.
Yeah, I can't remember the director's name.
I don't know the director, but she pushed it and convinced him that she can play Letitia, this role of a poor, not so attractive woman, and just like, kind of like just wither it out, right? So they didn't see that. They're like, she's too beautiful for that. She's not going to be able to do it. She's like, and she convinced them that she can, and she did it, and then that was the role that gave her an Oscar. She won an Oscar for that. And if it weren't for her trying to convince them and let them see that, I could do this, she would never have gotten that Oscar. She would be continually casted as, the beautiful woman. So, I mean, it's like sometimes you gotta let them see it too. Was there an audition that you've done before that you really wish you've gotten, but you didn't?
Yeah, that first one at the very beginning when I remember I was just starting out, I was just like, wow, it was a kid. It was some kid who I think John Leguizamo made he's got a couple of roles that that I didn't get.
Oh,
like
yeah?
I auditioned for Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet with the guns. Remember Leonardo
Yeah,
DiCaprio?
yeah.
Like, and so that was cool. I've never he's awesome. Like I've met him twice. Super nice guy. He's great. But I think at the very beginning, that's why I say this, because I think he did a film like this. I didn't see the final piece, but it was a film where it was somebody who grew up in New York City and yet like had street and friends that were selling drugs. He was kind of like, he knew he was street smart, or had kind of was hip to all of that world, but he could also go downtown and be like at the art openings and be around that crowd.
That's right.
And that was kind of like my experience, where I knew people on both sides of the track, just growing up uptown, up in the Heights, Washington Heights, and then going downtown, going to school at school visual I went to high school fashion industries. There were a lot of like aviation guys who kept coming to meet the girl. So, but I was always in that world, in fashion, in like in the arts, I knew like some famous artists, Frank Stella. I worked for him for a while. Like I just met really big names, so I could kind of dress up and be in that world. So I was educated, but I could also knew how to maneuver or navigate, in other parts of town. So there was a role like that I remember reading for, and that was the one where I'm just like, man, this is like an autobiography. I gotta do this, and they never called, and I was just like, man. It's like, don't they know that this is like me? But you never know what things are meant to happen a certain way, Now I look back, but I think that was the only one. I was just like, oh man. But then I learned to just, okay, next, because look what happened.
Yes, right.
You never know. A friend of mine, very very talented, Fabio Urena. He in LA. He's from here, but anyway, I remember one time, and I have to share this story because we were in LA, all like working actors trying to get work, and he auditioned. He was doing security at night. Look what happened. He auditioned for something, or he had an opportunity to audition for a really good series, and he got home from after work, and he was gonna have the audition in a little while, and he kind of sat down and he fell asleep, and he missed it. He's like, whoa, and the casting director, I'm sorry, and he beat himself. Talk about beating yourself up.
Man, yeah, that's.
But what happened was, after that, within like a couple months, there was another opportunity for a better role. Now, had he gotten that first role, he wouldn't be able to do that second role that he in the same series. Better role, better piece.
Gotcha.
So you never know, like the way things are. We can control but so much. And sometimes we get to like we don't, right? The weather, like whether people like us, all kinds of stuff in this world,
So I guess the best thing to take out of this is that you just gotta keep going, like keep doing it, keep working, keep pushing, because you might find something that's better than what you lost.
Yeah. But also I think, to take it, this is what I personally do. Like I spend a lot of time really focusing on, I guess the big picture, really personally, spiritually, like, praying, thinking about the Creator, thinking about whatever is meant for you, is meant for you. Like, no one can, whatever you're meant to do, you're meant to fulfill your shape. So really focusing all the time on that, and knowing that like I've gotta surrender, like I've gotta really be at peace, because it brings a lot of peace when you just like, because we go through so many like hits. I went through like divorce, I went through some painful death of friends, like a lot of friends have been murdered, but all kinds of craziness, and it's painful. But having that certain like, okay, I did but so much, like they were friends of mine. I tried to help, tried to warn, like stay away from doing this, doing that, and they didn't listen. And they wind up like dying because of their own, because whatever, messing with drugs or doing whatever it is, just making the bad decisions. And we can't care for someone more than they care for them.
That's true.
Right? So I guess that all goes to like just being surrendered, seeing the bigger picture, and really being at peace personally there. Because if there's peace personally, you'll have peace in every area.
Yeah.
You'll be surrendered in every area. not just with your relationship, with career, because some people, I gotta say this about acting. Sometimes people put too much stock in it, and it becomes their world, and it can't be their world, because then if they're not doing well, if that's not doing well, then they're not doing well. If they don't get called back, then they're not doing well. If like they're sitting by the phone, it never rings. So like, it's like the weather. Like, oh, it's cloudy. I'm sad. It's like, oh, it's rainy. No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It won't stop. The sun is really, it's still powering, heating this earth, even if it's like, 19 degrees here today in New York. but so anyway, I don't know. We're getting deep here, but
no, I love it, man. And it's very true. It's 100% true that you just got to keep going, man. And you can't make something like that your world. It's right. It's like with anything, really. Like, you can't have too many eggs in one basket, like they say. Right? You gotta have to spread it out and diversify.
You drop the basket, then
exactly.
Then what happens?
I mean, we're getting a lot of good advice from you, and that's why I wanted to bring you here, because you helped us out in high school, and you always gave us some time after school. With filming, and you helped us explore our creativity. And the thing I really enjoyed about you and your class is that you gave us no limit. You gave us no limit in terms of creativity. So you gave us the idea, and you're like, here's a camera, go film something. So I remember we filmed a whole bunch of like pranks, and we pretty much destroyed those rooms.
I remember. too much limitless, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
when I look back, there was falling down the stairs. I'll come like, man, that was a great stunt. Let's do it again. I'm like, now looking back, I'm like, man, I could have like, gotten, I don't know, in trouble for that.
Yeah. I mean, what were some of the craziest things that we've done? Do you remember any? I know, like the falling down the stairs and.
We gotta talk about this later, but I found some DV video. With DV video cameras, like, so there's stuff on there.
We have to show the guys.
Yeah,
we have to show the viewers.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll make copies of it, and maybe have a little reunion stuff. That would be cool. Have a little, like,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your thing. It's your show.
I would love to, man.
That would be cool. Let me see. I think. All right, I'll tell you one thing that I got a little kind of in trouble for. Okay. Here I was. I'm like, okay, let's do this, and okay, you coming in, and then we set up. I think we improv something where you guys came into a place, into a party. We're like, okay, we'll make this. Okay, this is a bar, and one guy's coming in, and we got to make this look like. And I'm just guiding you guys. I'm like, you know what? That doesn't look like beer. Let's mix like the Pepsi with the with the 7-Up.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking like we're in high school and it's underage. Yeah. I'm just thinking we're pretending this is acting, and they're going with it.
Yeah,
and I'm just kind of, and they're doing it. Then they pretend to fight and throw the guy out the window. I'm just like, but he doesn't get thrown out the window. He just kind of gets this way, and then we go outside and we shoot him landing, and cool. So I get called back into the office. They're like, yeah, we had an editor working on this, and I'm just quietly looking at it going like, and they're kind of retelling the story. They're like, so they were in this bar, and they're like, and they're all underage. They're all like,
I know.
And I didn't, the reality in the moment did not hit me that like, it's not a good thing to show or expose like someone who's 16 or 15.
Yeah, like young audiences in high school to that.
Right, to do that. And people do their own thing. But so, yeah, that was something. I know it's not the craziest thing, but that is something that kind of just, they were like, what were you thinking? And I thought, oh my God, what was I thinking? But there were a couple of stunts falling down some stairs too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember it looked great. So
the stunts are all real. Yeah, it's like, it was crazy. We've done a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, and I don't know what it is with aviation high school. I mean, I don't know if I told you about this. Like, they kind of banned me and my friend from going back.
But why? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Why? Because
I don't know, because of I think we kind of like, people got crazy when we went there, and like everybody was trying to take pictures. Everybody's like, and they were like clogging the hallways and stuff.
It's a good thing for aviation.
It's
called free press.
But see, the thing is, it's like,
get you back in there. I know
it's I mean, I'm just surprised about it. I guess they don't really. That's one of the things that they're afraid. That's why, hey, I mean, you're not gonna get any funding from me anymore. That's it. I'm not donating no money to aviation high school. So forget about you. No, but honestly, they gave me like I took a lot from that school. I'm glad I met you. I met a lot of great friends, and it's just I wish they had like a more forward-thinking head of faculty there.
Right.
Because in this day and age, you need to work with the people, not like bar them from or kind of like put up walls.
Yeah. What's currently happening, like if that's actually a good thing, if like if the school gets known, not for negative things, but if it draws a lot of attention, and you see students like yourself going off and being successful because of what you learned there, what you were experiencing there, that's a good thing. So you never know. Like we never know on the other side. There's always two sides. Like you never know how they might be so like worried about their funding, and if people are talking about certain things. I have no idea. We never know. But things may change, and people are always growing. That's the cool thing. Like people have changed. Like even like establishments have changed. We're like, whoa, we never took YouTube seriously. Now we take it seriously. For example, like Hollywood. Here they now that people Netflix films are getting awards, and now they're like, oh wait a minute, now that like when you went to Egypt, I saw that video. It was awesome. They're just like people didn't know. Even like sometimes family members don't understand.
That's
so
like true.
To this moment, I have family members who are like, yeah, you're looking for a job? I'm like, I have my own job. I have my own business, and I'm also creating stuff, but they don't understand. Why are you up so late at night? It's like, I'm here visiting family here in New York, and so they don't understand. They're like, wow, why are you up so late? I'm like, I'm working. I'm on social, like doing stuff, like looking up, doing my homework.
That's good, yeah.
Seeing the video. But for example, like when here you are going to Egypt, that was such a cool moment for everyone to see, for your old school, for your family to see you, just like, there he is. Hundreds of people mobbing you, like. It shows the legitimacy of and the far-reaching effect you've had, and you are having. So
I'm so grateful for that, and I'm really thankful for that. And I have you to thank for that too. So because it's like it's the people you meet at your early age that kind of shape you to be who you are in a way. So I do thank you for that, man. I do want to like also ask, since you brought it up. Your business. So what are you doing now, and what's the direction you're taking now with your life?
I have my own business doing health and wellness. My main focus is always just I'll do a lot of Facebook Lives, and I really enjoy like personal development and helping people like reach their potential. Like I'm still teaching, but in that kind of a way, in that arena. So I love to do that. That's what I do. I just work with people and partner with people in different states as far as like just overall wellness, not just physical like health wise, but like personally, emotionally. And I just like, not that I'm the stop for that, but I know the sources that I go to. I've been to like I go to Danny Johnson conferences. She's been on Oprah and Secret Millionaire. Like people go to conferences like that and walk away with tools like on bettering your relationships, your mindset, finance, and your business sense. And I'm like walking proof of that. I'm able to be self-employed now because of the things I learned there, and the people that and then other people that I know that go to conferences like that. And then, so I enjoy doing that. So I'm helping people just with overall health and wellness, And you can reach me on, I guess on Instagram, right? I gotta use Instagram more.
Yeah, at Agustin.
Agustin. That's
.nyc.
AGUSTIN.NYC, or my Gmail, or my email, which is AGUSTIN.NYC@gmail. Yeah. I know it's like ancient history. I gotta get me a web page or something. And I haven't launched my YouTube page. So now this is inspiring me to get my podcast, my YouTube channel going.
Go for it, man.
You are inspiring me because I'm seeing how it's working and how you're doing it, and it's just it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And
thank you, Karim. Really.
Hey, man, anytime. I'm looking forward if you want me on a guest on your podcast. Productions, like I would love for us to work and have like a production together, get our heads together, and just see what can come out of that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I also wanted to talk about like the health and wellness that you are working in, you don't know how prevalent that is in today's day and age, especially with social media and all these young people who have issues mentally. Because now more than ever, a lot of kids are being depressed. A lot of kids are, dealing with social issues and also with the word is insecurities, because they see all these people online and they compare themselves to them. And when you see other people online, it's like you're being force-fed all these people's lives, and you're like, whoa, their life is so much better than mine. They're successful. They're doing this. They're doing that. And what am I doing? But you don't get to see the bad side. You only see the good side, and that's what social media is. It only shows the good side.
Right.
Very few people show like the bad side, right? So it's so important that you're in that field, and I find it funny because like it works in tandem with the whole film industry. And especially entertainment industry, basically, like especially with social media. So I wanted you to like, let's say you have a young teenager or something that's working, or jumping into social media, or they want to be in entertainment, or whatever it is, knowing how social media works, and with your expertise in health and wellness, what's your advice to someone who is just starting out and just jumping into social media, or wanting to jump into entertainment, but they're the type that can they're in a big funk right now of depression because of the whole social media world?
Wow, that's a good question. That's my advice to somebody like that who's, I guess it's kind of like, what, here's the thing, you're actually, by you asking that, it's not just my answer, but you're highlighting something that's a reality that we don't see the bad side. We don't see the hard times that people, right? Because things are up and down. Even as an actor, as a creator, having your own business, it's sometimes you're just like, whoa, I might be able to pay the rent this month. Let me squeeze it out. And so there's always ups and downs. I think, if that person is, whoever that person is, they have to be just like somebody approaching acting, like they have to really be kind of secure and happy in their own lives. Like I know actors, for example, that are like not just younger but older, they're like okay, this acting is not my whole life. Like I have a wife, I have kids, I have a life, like a life that fulfills me, that I love a lot, but this is my passion and I have to do it. And they're still doing it. I got a friend like Mark Thompson. He's a buddy of mine who he's made his living, he's done like, he might be somebody you might want to have on here.
I would love to.
He's done like Star Wars, like TV commercials, cartoons, all these like voiceovers. Like he's an amazing guy. But he's a working actor here in New York City, living in Manhattan raising his kids, who are amazing kids. With Leslie, his wife. Like they're just a very healthy, balanced family. Not perfect. No one is perfect, but it is doable. It is possible to actually have a fulfilling life outside of the arts, but still excel in the arts. So with using social, it is a tool. It is just, it's a hard thing because we put too much stock in it sometimes. Like you said, we think like, oh my gosh, and we somehow reflect on us. Like, there are people that look at it, they look at Facebook, Instagram, like, man, anybody, young or old, they're like, man, they just bought a house. Well, I don't have a house.
Hey.
They went on vacation. They're in the sunshine. It's 19 degrees here in Manhattan. And they're like,
hey, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of influencers who have millions of followers, over 4 million followers on Instagram. And I got to meet them personally, went into their nice house, and they literally took me aside and they're like, I'm actually selling this house. I can't do it. The reality of it. So, and I was surprised. Like, you would think that they, like, wow, this is their house, and they made it. You have all this stuff, and they would tell me like, no, I'm selling this house, can't afford it. It's getting too expensive. Got to move in a smaller place, and things are not going so well right now. And there's a lot going on with a lot of influencers. Like some of them have kids and they don't want to, and it was like kind of a surprise, and now they don't know how to like work that into their, and nobody knows, and it's like. So you don't know, like I know a lot of influencers, and I love a lot of their stories, and I think it's like, it always helps me too, because like you said, I was always comparing myself. Like I always wanted more. I always wanted that extra step. I was like, if that dude is getting 1 million, I need to be getting 1 million. I need to be getting 2 million. Like, and you can only push yourself so much to the point where you're like, you get burnt out and you realize that, you know, their life is not as great as it may seem, especially when you get to meet them. And that's why I like meeting a lot of influencers, not because I want to feed off of them or like, you know, just like take from them and all that nasty stuff. I just actually love meeting them just so I could hear their problems, so I could kind of ground myself and kind of take a breath. Like, okay, here's somebody who's so successful and things are not going so great, so I'm going to be thankful for what I have, that I didn't reach that point yet, you know, because I've seen people grow so fast and then fall really hard. Because, you know, the bigger you grow, the faster you grow, the harder you fall, like they say. So it's always good to have a healthy, slow growth, because it's more solid. You have a better foundation to really land on. So a lot of that you learn from just meeting people from that world, you know?
You know, I think too, like it's, gosh, I had something on the tip of my brain here, but it escaped me. Maybe it's age. No, I think, just being, it's a good thing that you're meeting these folks and that's happening. And so that, because we're all learning something, like they're learning, like as they keep going, we're all learning. We all continually learn and go, whoa, and the reality hits you like, oh, it's not all it's cracked up to be. And I think, here's the thing, like, who cares? Like, this is something that I heard at a conference where somebody said, well, who cares if you have $1 million, you know, millions of dollars in the bank, but your kids hate you?
Yeah.
Like, it won't matter. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel
it really doesn't matter.
100%.
Like, or like people have like all this stuff, all this, you know, he who dies with the most toys still dies. Like, not to be that, not to be
No,
morbid,
you're right. You can't take it
but
with
it's
you.
like,
Yeah.
right. So it's not so much about just dying or where you, but as far as what really matters here, you know, like looking back, you're like, you know, I know that I really appreciate this about you, Karim. I know that you're very close to your family, and that means a lot to you. That means so much to you. And as to me, I am also, because that's what really matters. The people that care in my life, that I care about, because, you know, it won't matter if we're up in some mansion, like, all by ourselves. And you know there are people like that they're just like, man, this is not. See, we can't, if we pursue, and we're constantly pursuing, that number one pursuit is an appetite, it will never be satisfied.
You could have said it any better. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
on that note, I'm hungry. Let's go. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so, you know, we're going to close it off, but with some closing remarks. If you can give us some closing remarks about anything that you would like to share before we close this off, because I do want to say thank you so much, Agustin Rodriguez, for coming through, sharing all these awesome stories and all your awesome achievements and great pieces of art that you've contributed to to all of us. You know, we thank you for that, and we thank you for the expertise and the knowledge and talent that you shared with us and taught us. So I thank you for that too. So just share some closing remarks with us before we go.
Gosh, I'm like, well, I appreciate it, Karim. Thank you so much. I think I'm grateful. I think I'll close it up with this, that like you mentioned how, you know, sometimes it's not all cracked up to be, like it's feast or famine, right? Acting, like it can be. Like I've made more, as much as a doctor at one point. When I was working on a TV series, doing all this, like, you know, I remember a year was getting close to 200,000 in 1 year. And I don't usually even mention that. I didn't even know. I just looked at it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I looked at an average doctor, you know, income. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, as a doctor, I don't have a PhD.
That must have been awesome, right?
So, but I remember, and that was really cool. That's good. But it's like, it's feast or famine. And we always keep learning. Like I've been, even just a few short years ago, you know, I went through a divorce. I went through a really difficult time in my life. And it's like, again, all the achievements in the world, like, couldn't matter less to me. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think being balanced in a person's life, and whoever that is, and like in your life, we have to have a life outside of this. It totally has to be. Like, it has to be. And if something, there's something there's something empty or not fulfilling there. There's something that's like, it's okay. Let's keep pursuing that. That's why I go to personal development. You know, maybe I'd love for you to come with me sometime. We could shoot something there at like one of these conferences, or like, because you walk away just, you know, and I don't work for them. That's not what but you walk away really with a different it's a paradigm shift. You just go, whoa, this is like it's a new experience. Working on a new project. So I think yeah, just we always learn. It's always feast or famine. Again, I want to mention this. Just a few years ago, I went through divorce. I moved from New York back to LA, and here I was just kind of starting life over again. And at one point, I was doing different things, doing construction, just to make it, to be able to audition, to have those kind of hours. Like, I've never had a 9-to-5 job. I've never had right? Never had a regular job, which I'm grateful for. I've done different things. Teaching, what I was doing, I did that for years. Security, I did construction, I did house cleaning, especially in LA. This is after doing all these things, being on TV. I'm like, and here I am doing construction, like shoveling rocks in the sun, in LA, in the hot sun, like a Hebrew slave. Like, because when things were kind of stripped away, I'm like, okay, that's what I got to do for now so that I can have the time freedom to do X, Y, Z. And at times I lost that. I was a building manager one time, downtown LA. I lost that job. I had unexpected. I didn't prepare for a rainy day. It rained, and I was without a place to live. Like, I was without a place to live. I was living like from place to place on a floor, on a couch, even living out of my car in LA at one point. And it was things that I had to learn. Taking personal responsibility and just certain things. So that's just a reflection of what was going on maybe inside of me. But I say all that to say that people may look at all this, wow, look at this stuff, but it's like it's up and down. And I wouldn't do it any different, meaning feast or famine, like, it's still, life in the arts is amazing. Not that everyone has to go through that. And there are a lot of people that still do that. So don't put, I would say my final thought here is to not put limits, to not be scared, and not have don't have anything to fall back on. Seriously, because nobody successful has ever said that. Nobody that I know. They've never said that. Talk to Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos, or people that are like done amazing things, to Oprah. It's like, no, they had this goal. They set for it. They and there was no plan B. Like, you're in a have-to situation, you have to. Then it's good to be in that. So I guess leaving with that, to really definitely plan it better than I did. You can learn from other people and go like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I have a little parachute here in case something gets rough. But not. Life is too short. I've had friends that have passed away. I think I've lost about 8 friends in the last 3 to 4 years. Different things. Some were expected, some were not expected. Yeah. And it's like, it just shows me how, like, wow, this is too short to live it, to play it safe, or to play it like just ordinary. Yeah. Don't be ordinary. It's like, we all can be extraordinary. We were made to be extraordinary. We're like a Ferrari. My roommate told me this. These are not my words. My roommate once told me this. I was not motivated at one point at doing security at night, and I was just like, yeah, but he's like, dude, bro, you gotta, you're like a Ferrari going 20 miles an hour. Come on. Like, do you know what I mean? I never, ever forgot that, and it stayed with me. And we all go through our times and our season. Everything has its time and its season. Anyway, I just wanted to leave that. I know it's kind of a few.
Hey, man, that was amazing. There, thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Sure.
Man. And I'd like to add something too. Like, you never know, and this is to the audience and the listeners. You never know if someone actually has something that you might think someone has something that you don't, when in reality you might have something they want, right? And I can attest to that because I met someone. He's a great director, and I envy him because of the work he's done. Like, he's done a lot of viral films on the internet. I don't want to give out his name, because we had a personal moment, right? He was sitting down next to me, and he's like, how do you do it, man? I was like, what are you talking about? I should be asking you that question. Like, you're like a freaking great film director. No, he's like, how do you do it? Like, so many people love you. Like, you have like a fan base, like, I just want to feel that. Like, I want that. He's like, well, what did you do? What did you do? And I was like, I was so confused. I was like, you really want what I have? I want what you have, right? So I told him, what I did, and then he talked to me, and we started continuing to talk. But that question stuck with me, and I went to my brother because I needed to get like a different perspective on it. I was like, "Hey, this great film director who's done this," and I showed him the film, who's done this, came to me, and he's like, "How do you do it? Like, how do you make people love you?" And he just told me, he's like, "People, they're never happy. They always want something. They always want something that other people have. They're never going to be happy with what they have." And they're always that's always gonna be the thing, and people want to be loved. So then, and I was like, I'm blessed in a sense to have people follow me and love me, but it grounded me, and it made me realize, like, just be thankful for what you have. Like, I'm telling you, this guy was like someone I would love to be like someday, and here he is, wishing he had what I had, and I wish that I had. So why can't we just be happy with what we have? This way life will be much easier and much better. And I think you explained that perfectly today, and you're a living proof of that you worked with what you had, and you managed to share with many people. And I want to thank you once again for that. So Agustin Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us today on the Coffee and Karim podcast. And I just wanted to say that we hope we could have you again someday.
Oh, I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. I was so, when you asked me to be on here, I was so moved by that. Felt so nice. So I appreciate that. I appreciate
it's a given. I mean, there's no question. We had to have you on.
Thank you. It was an honor being here. I appreciate it.
And I thank you. Man. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. And I thank you so much for coming. And if you guys want to check out Agustin Rodriguez, you could just search him up online, and you can see all the work he's done. A lot of great work. But if they want to follow your socials, what is your socials? Just one more time, just in case they didn't catch it.
I'm on Instagram. It's at Agustin. It's like Agustin. It's not the. I know. I kind of throw people off. So it's AGUSTIN.NYC at gmail.com is my email, or the same beginning, AGUSTIN.NYC on Instagram. That's the best way. I got to clean up my Facebook. I got like 2. They'll be confused if they go to this, but we'll connect that.
It's all good. We'll help you with that. We'll help you with that.
Thank you. That's what I need help with. Thanks.
We got you with that. So final thing, any future projects that we could look forward to coming from Agustin?
Gosh, I'm just like right now, early stages of producing something with a buddy in Texas. We're doing something there. I can't really talk too much about it, but it is exciting. We've met with people in Los Angeles, and we're kind of getting direction there. That's where that is so far. But I'm excited about a couple of, I don't have anything right now that I can kind of talk about. So
hey,
download.
We'll be waiting, and we'll be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So thanks again.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, brother.